The Life of an English Teacher. My name is Sarah, and I am an English teacher. Have you ever wondered what it's like to teach a language that connects people from all over the world? Well, that's my mission. And today, I want to tell you a little about this incredible journey. Ever since I was little, I've always been passionate about languages. I remember watching movies and trying to repeat the lines in English, even though I didn't understand much at first. Over time, I realized that knowing another language opens doors to many opportunities, whether it's studying in good schools, getting a better job, or even traveling without fear of getting lost. And that's when I decided I wanted to help other people discover this world too. Being an English teacher goes far beyond teaching words and grammar rules. I help my students to relax, to lose their fear of speaking, to truly communicate. It's not enough to just know how to write or understand what's in the book. You need to feel the language, make it part of your daily life. That's why my classes are full of dynamic activities such as games, songs, stories, and even conversations about what's happening in the world. Each student is unique, and my goal is to understand their difficulties and help them overcome each challenge. Some people learn better by listening to music, while others prefer to read stories or practice speaking. So, I adapt each class so that everyone feels comfortable and confident. After all, learning English doesn't have to be boring, right? What motivates me most in this profession is seeing each student's progress. Nothing compares to the happiness of realizing that someone who used to be afraid of speaking English can now speak without fear and with a smile on their face. Knowing that I'm helping to change lives, even if it's just a little bit, is what makes it all worth it. So, have you thought about learning English? I guarantee that it can be much more fun and exciting than you imagine. How I became an English teacher. Since I was little, I've always been fascinated by foreign languages. It was as if each new word was a little secret that I discovered. And of all the languages, English has always been my favorite. At school, it was the subject I loved the most, not only because I got good grades, but because learning English made me feel like I was discovering a new world. I loved spending hours reading books in English, even if, at first, I had to look up some words in the dictionary. Music was another passion. I sang along, even without understanding everything, and I had fun trying to imitate the singer's pronunciation. Movies were an adventure in themselves. Sometimes I would watch them without subtitles just to see how much I could understand, and that wasn't all. Whenever a classmate had trouble with the subject, I loved to help. I would explain it in my own way, with easy examples, and I was so happy when I saw that they finally understood. Without realizing it, I was already taking my first steps as a teacher. That's when I realized I wanted to do this forever. When I finished high school, I decided to follow my dream and went to university to study English and pedagogy. But look, it wasn't easy. The course was very demanding. Grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, teaching techniques. Sometimes, I was exhausted, wondering if I would really make it, but I had incredible teachers who always motivated me. They said, "If you love teaching, never give up. Dedication will take you further than you imagine." These words stayed with me and helped me to keep going. After 4 years of studying, facing challenges and learning, I finally graduated. And at that moment, my biggest dream came true. I became an English teacher. Now, I can help other people learn this wonderful language, just like I once learned it myself. And you know what? It was worth every bit of effort. Challenges and overcoming challenges in teaching. Being a teacher is an incredible journey, but it is not always easy. Each student has their own pace, their own difficulties, and even their own fears. Some find certain parts of English complicated and need me to explain them in different ways, sometimes more than once. Others are more shy, are afraid of making mistakes, and end up avoiding speaking. But do you know what I always say? Making mistakes is part of learning. No one is born knowing, and each mistake is, in fact, a step on the ladder of knowledge. My biggest challenge is to transform the classroom into a welcoming space where no one is afraid to try. I want my students to feel that learning English can be fun and rewarding, without the pressure of having to get everything right the first time. When someone hesitates, I reinforce, you are here to learn, and learning means practicing, falling, getting up, and continuing. I remember one student in particular, Oli. He was extremely shy, and whenever there was a conversation activity, he would try to hide in the back of the room. He hardly ever spoke, and when he did, it was in a low whisper, as if he was afraid someone would hear. One day, after class, I called Oli over to talk. I told him I understood his fears, but that he didn't need to be afraid. I would be there to help him, without judgment. We made a deal. He would practice with me without pressure, just trying. At first, he would just repeat single words. Then he started to form simple sentences. Little by little, he gained confidence. The most memorable moment came at the end of the year. To my surprise, Oli raised his hand and said he wanted to give a short speech in English. I was speechless. He stood up in front of the class and, even though he was a little nervous, spoke clearly and proudly. It was one of the most exciting moments of my career. Stories like this remind me why I chose to be a teacher. It's not just about teaching a language, it's about helping people believe in themselves and discover their own potential. The meaning of teaching English is much more than just explaining grammar rules or expanding students' vocabulary. It is a journey full of challenges, but also of rewards that make it all worthwhile. There is nothing more rewarding than seeing a student evolve and achieve their goals. Some come to me insecure, thinking they will never be able to speak English properly. But with dedication, effort, and practice, the moment comes when something changes, that sparkle in their eyes when they realize that yes, they can. The best of all is when they come to tell me about their achievements. I passed the English exam. Now I can talk to people from other countries without getting stuck. These moments fill me with pride and remind me why I love this profession so much. But do you know what is most interesting? While teaching, I also learn a lot from my students. Each one brings their own stories, experiences, and even curiosities about their cultures. I have students from different parts of the world, and each conversation is an opportunity to learn about new customs, traditions, and even different ways of seeing life. This makes every day at work unique and special. For me, teaching English is not just a profession, it is a way to connect people, open doors, and transform lives. English is not just a language. It is a bridge that allows someone to travel, make friends, get a good job, or simply feel more confident when communicating with the world. If you want to learn English, my advice is, don't give up. At first, it may seem difficult. You may feel like giving up everything, but learning a new language takes time and patience. The secret is in daily practice, persistence, and, above all, enjoying the process. In the end, the rewards will be much greater than you imagine.